Under night skies where they shine bright. From the outside, these heights are my life. But in daylight, there ain't no sign. The satellites.
What's up, YouTube? It's Fuzzy Motion, and I can't wait to tell you all about the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if you're a fan of Call of Duty, was the MLG Anaheim event. Spoilers, Optic did not win. It was Evil Geniuses, that old Complexity team. They walked away with first place. The road getting there was actually pretty interesting. They 3-0'd Optic the first time they played in the Champions bracket. Then Optic came back and 3-1'd EG, and then unfortunately EG 3-0'd Optic yet again to take first place, which doesn't make any sense to me because, you know, in my mind, when you're playing a championship bracket, only the people who are left in the championship bracket should play for first and second, not the person that comes back and plays all the way back from losers. They should be playing for third, but that's not the point. So MLG is an organization that's trying to push their agenda to make their gaming circuit more mainstream, I guess you could say. Call of Duty is pretty mainstream. It's one of the most popular first-person shooters, and more so, the Major League Gaming aspect of it is becoming more and more popular with every event that goes by. These events are very well funded. They get great coverage. They have awesome venues that you can go and visit and actually be a part of. It's like an actually, you know, it's a real like shindig sort of thing. Like, it's not just, okay, we're just gonna go rent out this this hotel's business quarters and, you know, have like a huge LAN event. Like, they do it up and make it a really nice thing for all the kids and everybody who's involved. The kids get to meet the pros, and the pros get to sell their merchandise and, you know, boast their Twitter names, their at shit, and it's a really fun time for everybody, right? A lot of money's being made at these events. And when you looked at the finals match for Optic and EG, you saw a lot of people who were fans of both of these, you know, these teams. And you think about, how do you get fans, right? Well, in Optic's case, it's mainly just because of their YouTube presence. I don't want to say that's the only reason. I mean, they're a very good team, and they've got some charismatic personalities on their team, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're constantly in the public eye because of YouTube, because of Twitch, and because of MLG. Being able to stream on all of those platforms and post videos, people know who they are. So people identify with these folks, these young men, and as a result, they have a fan base. Now, you know, with that comes the other side of things. You know, whoever's winning, people are going to be fans of those. Every year, there seems to be more and more Yankee fans, but not as many people are from the Bronx, right? In fact, I want to say less of these people actually have been to the Bronx than are actually from the Bronx or whatnot, and they say they're fans of the Yankees. It's just kind of like, shut the fuck up, nobody cares. You're fake. Anyway, I digress. My point is, it's really easy to identify with a team, especially in MLG, in the Call of Duty scene, when you know who's playing for the team and you know who they are, and you can identify with the brand, right? Because a lot of people say, you know, what are you more of a fan of, the brand, like the team, or the player? It's kind of like, dude, you know, I respect certain players and I follow sports all the time, but you know, I'm a Mets fan, right? And if David Wright one day somehow got traded, God bless him, I'd hope the best for him, but trust me, I'm not all of a sudden going to become like a Boston Red Sox fan should he get traded to the Boston Red Sox. Knock on wood, that never happens, but you get my point. Although some people would probably do that, they're really not fans of the team to begin with, and you could live without them, right? They're just kind of there for the experience. At any rate, it becomes really hard to invest in any other team when you don't know who's playing for the team. Now, we have a lot of roster changes, especially after events where people just want to be the best. You know, we kind of feel like it's always the same couple, like a handful of teams that are always competing for first, second place, third place, whatever, top five. It's, Optic, it's Complexity, that EG team. It's the remnants of that Impact team. So Optic Nation's kind of in the mix of things, but we'll get to that in a second. I'll tell you why I even mentioned them, but FaZe and Curse, I guess you could even say. But even those two teams that I just mentioned now have two subsidiary teams, which I don't even know who's on them. I really don't care. It's just kind of like, oh, you have another team now? That's cool. Wait, fucking, where'd you come from? My point is, when you don't know who's playing on a team, you don't give a shit, right? And it's really hard to care about teams like Rise or like TCM, I guess maybe because they're European, but again, their lack of coverage makes it really hard to even care, about their success or who they are. It makes it really hard to want to follow a team when you don't know who's on it and when you don't really know who to identify with, right? So then why bother even trying to publicize the team or trying to make it, and as I get a triple kill there with that one kill and the two from the grenade, it makes it really hard to identify with and, attach to a team other than the ones that are in the mainstream. And it makes it really hard for those teams to grow as a result, no matter how much face time they get. Now, I think one team has kind of gotten it right in the sense of where this all needs to go, right? Envious, the guy that runs Envious, Hastro, Mike Rufio, he's made his players sign a 1-year contract deal so that they stay put for at least a year so that everybody can kind of identify with who they are and their faces and whatnot. As I get knifed in the face right here, I fucking hate knives. The worst things ever. I think he got it right. Now, I don't really know what the terms of the contract are as far as money or, being removed from the team goes or whatnot, but I've read on subreddits or things like that there might be like a complexity clause in there where if 3 of the players say that one player needs to be removed, they can be removed. If there's any other sort of specific breaches of contract, obviously that would be terms for removal. And, things of that nature. But basically, it makes it so that players can't just sketch, which means that, they just leave the team without really telling anybody, because that was a thing for at least 6 months. I don't know if you guys remember, but like there was I think it was in April of, no, was it in April? Maybe February. No, it was February of this past year where so many people were just swapping teams left and right like they were changing underwear. It was ridiculous. Look at Envious's team currently. It's got 2 guys on it that 3 guys on it that a year ago wouldn't have been on the team. It's got in fact, now that I think of it, I don't think Envious has anybody on the team that was part of the team before. They have, who do they have now? They have Parasite, they have Study, they have Nameless, who was part of FaZe, and then they also have Merc, who was part of Optics. So Envious is nowhere. If you look at a year back, Envious is totally a different team. But, a lot of those names and faces are popular names and faces, both in Twitter and on the YouTube scene, at least from, Parasite and the Merc perspective. Study to some extent. But Study, see, this is the funny thing, right? So Study's actually part of this team now. And I remember this story, too. I was thinking about this in my head as it's happening, right? Study used to be part of a team called Just Us, and Just Us was made up of him and 3 other people, Chino, Hottie, and Tipsy, right? Now, Tipsy is a gentleman who plays for Curse Black right now, but, you don't know that they all used to be teammates together about a year ago, right? And one of the sub-stories I guess people were kind of missing out on is when Curse Black had to play Envious. They totally forgot about the fact, like, oh yeah, might be some bad blood or, might be rivalry between old teammates. Nobody even knew about that. That might have given that match a little bit more of depth, a little bit more of a dimension if people knew that sort of thing. But nobody had any idea. And if they did, they didn't mention it. So that kind of just went unnoticed. And I don't know if you got to see the stream, but Envy they looked like shit this whole weekend. They were playing so flat, and then Hastro came in between one of the rounds, and he just fucking lit them up. You could tell he was using some choice language. I'm a fan of that stuff, sir. And he let him have it, and they were like, oh shit, we better start playing, otherwise we're not going to get to eat dinner tonight. I don't know what he said to him, but they immediately picked it up after that. They ended up losing to Curse Black in the end there, but still, that's not even the point. Point is, I can't feel any type of way towards Curse Black because other than knowing about, Tipsy and the fact that he was on a team that beat Optic, I really don't know or care too much about those guys. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard for me to identify. And if it's hard for me to identify or really care about any of those other teams, those like, I want to call them tertiary teams, because, you know, they're not top 5, they're not, you know, really godly or YouTube presence, then they're just like they're like third string. If it's hard for me to give a shit about them, then it's definitely hard for the regular passerby or you know, common person just getting into the scene to even, you know, give two shits about them. And if MLG is looking to make their Call of Duty, their competitive Call of Duty scene a legitimate thing that people can kind of, you know, tune in for and really care about, then they've got to do something about the roster change nonsense that is what it is right now. So I think Envy's got it right. I think Envy's got it right because they've made their players sign contracts. I think more people need to kind of, you know, step up to the plate and do the same thing. I think Hector, the leader of Optic, would be better suited to do the same thing. And I'm not sure if EG has something similar in place, but I mean, EG is a organization that bought Complexity basically, or, you know, it gave them incentivized their players to come over. So, you know, to whatever extent that works legally, I'm not even too sure. But once you give people something to get behind, and I get knifed for the third fucking time, once you get people something to get behind and like a group of folks that they could be like, okay, these guys aren't going to go anywhere, I can get to know them, I can get to, you know, have some sort of attachment to the team, then people are going to start caring more about him. So you're going to see, like, you know, Curse Black get a lot more of a following. You're going to see Rise get more of a following. You're going to see all those other teams who aren't YouTube presences, because, you know, it takes a lot of work to put together a professional Call of Duty team. You're going to get to see them have a lot more of a following. I do okay in this map. It's all right. I'm not here for the gameplay, guys. It's about the commentary. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's Fuzzy Motion. YouTube, we'll see you in the next one.